Welcome back. So
Hello.
today we get to hang with Heather Chauvin, who, if you guys have followed me for any period of time, you know is my mentor. Have we ever discussed how I found you? I don't think
You
we have.
said you found my book on someone's Instagram.
Yeah. So she wrote a book called Dying to Be a Good Mother. And I don't remember where I found it, but I read it and it was like the first page. And you were like, why are you letting motherhood or something be the excuse to not take care of yourself? And I was like, oh, I like her. And I think that's when we started chatting. I would love for you to share a little bit of your story, what's led you to what you do and how you work with women now.
Okay, every time I tell this story, it comes out differently because I'm like, where do we start, right? Everything leads us up to where we are now. But motherhood was actually the first thing that cracked me open. And I became a mom when I was 18, and I have three boys now, and they're 18, 13, and 10. And so when I talk about that, I mean, everything you need to heal comes up when your children turn specific ages, and I'm in it. So became a mom, looked at my son, and I immediately was like, I don't want to become a statistic. And this like primal energy inside of me, I didn't know at the time, it was like a fear of failure, like actual that I'm going to fail on a primal level as a mother. Like I'm already doing things backwards. So that was my first into hustle culture, where I'm like just becoming an overachiever, which I wasn't previously in my life. I was like the passive versus active. And I'm like, okay, he's my purpose now. Mothering is my purpose. So I'm going to live for this child. I'm going to do the things for this child. Um, and I got pats on the back culturally from it. Everyone's like, look at you go. Like, you're so amazing. Fast forward, I'm in school. I get a university degree. I become a social worker. I fall in love with seeing and understanding children's behavior, and I'm getting noticed for it. That people are actually like, you're really good at this. Like, you're good with kids. You get them. You love the underdogs. You love the labeled, children that everyone else has written off. You can get through to them. And I'm like, yeah, why can't everybody else do this? Realizing that I'm now learning about what they call emotional intelligence. Like, oh my goodness, people have emotions. Still curious why adults don't understand this concept, especially educated adults. So I'm learning about emotional intelligence. I'm learning about human behavior through children. And I start teaching meditation and mindfulness to kids, and parents drop off their kids and they're like, did you fix them yet? Like, they're making me yell. And I'm like, oh, wow. Okay, this is projection. So then I keep following the breadcrumbs. I'm like, oh, we're the problem. Parents are the problem. We're the adult. Like, if we can't emotionally regulate, we're going to project onto other people. Fast forward, I leave my job, my corporate job, three boys, the little one who's now 10. I'm like breastfeeding, like in startup phase. And I'm diagnosed with a stage 4 cancer. And at the time, didn't have the financial privilege to not work. So I'm doing coaching calls from my hospital bed, which actually in hindsight, like gave me life. And I was so grateful that I loved my work. Like my work brought me joy. So even though I was in a physical crisis state, a financial survival state, that bucket of my life was overflowing. And after that, so my primary work at the time was like the parent-child, like parenting. And then after that, I was like, okay, ladies, we need to stop pretending that like it's the kids. It's just the kids. You're telling me you can't implement certain things because you're exhausted, you're angry, you're miserable, you're resentful, your marriage is falling apart, you hate your life, blah, blah, blah. You don't think any of that matters. And that's where the dying to be a good mother came in, because we're literally dying to be good for everybody else, our children, our partners, our clients, freaking neighbors, like the barista at Starbucks, like everybody, to be good for everyone except ourselves. And so I had to begin to reverse engineer how I wanted to feel in my life. And that is how you found me, because I'm like, you can do that in your personal life. You can do that in your professional life. Yes, we need strategy, right, Brooke? We need strategy and we need feelings and we need to lean in, and we become the type of person that we want to be for our children and everyone else. So that's where I'm at today. That emotionally uncomfortable is not just about hustle and push. I actually believe it's like we can do things for short amount of times that are emotionally uncomfortable, it's not always quote unquote hard and hustle. I actually think we can do way less better if we're willing and get quicker results and have the time to read a book, watch Netflix, do whatever the hell you want by actually feeling your feelings on a deeper level.